In this video, we're going to talk about one of the major things that people miss out when they're doing a rehab program for their back pain. And this isn't for you if you've had back pain for a couple of weeks or a couple of days. This is for you if you've had sort of months or even years of back pain, and maybe you're finally starting to do the right sort of exercises. You've got a strengthening program, it's progressive, you're making progress with the program itself, but you're missing this one key thing that's going to help you with actually resolving that back pain and making the program itself more effective. This video is really to help make you just think twice, reevaluate what you're doing, not necessarily the exercise component, but the broader context of your back pain to make sure that you're not missing this out and you're doing things properly. Let's just recap what got you here in the first place. Well, most of us do a really good job of keeping fit, healthy, and in shape and doing regular exercise. But as soon as we start to get the stresses and the claws of family life, of work life, of just the busyness of going through life start to get hold, we find that we do less and less physical activity, and slowly we just sort of let things fall by the wayside. It's important to stress that this happens in a lot of cases just by accident. We put ourselves last. Everyone else is more important than ourselves, our fitness, etc. And we end up just doing everything else. And the care of self, the fitness, the daily activities, those start to wax and wane. And yeah, sure, we're busier than ever before, but we're not really doing things that fuel this, that look after our body and that keep our body strong. And that takes place, and it happens very, very slowly. Just take a moment to reflect, are you as active as you were when you were in your 20s, when you were in your 30s, when you were in 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Are you slowly getting less and less active? And I've got news for you. Going for a walk, doing the house chores, that doesn't count as physical exercise. It's not arduous, it's not challenging in the same sort of way. Don't get me wrong, you're going to feel exhausted after a day of doing house chores or all those other sorts of demanding tasks that happen around the house or in the garden, but it's not the same as that level of intensity that is gleaned from physically exertional activity. So what happens over the years is you use it or lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And slowly the activities that have promoted good core strength, balance, general strength and stability start to wax and wane. And as we get older, we get degenerative process taking place as well. We get injuries, we get falls, we get knocks, and we maybe recover a little bit less well from each one, whether it's a knee, an ankle, a sprained ankle, for example, or just a little minor strain here and there. And those things start to add up, and we do less and less to rebuild back to where we were at the start. Maybe by this point, you're already thinking, yeah, do you know what? I'm not doing as much as I used to do. And I haven't been for a very long period of time, even before my back pain started. And quite often when you start getting back pain, people say, oh, it must be something I did yesterday that kicked this off. But actually, it's the slow degradation of these things over time that means that when we do have that event, that injury, we're less placed to actually rebuild. And you're starting to see a picture here, hopefully. We're starting to see a slow drop down in the strength, the competence, the fitness of our body. And that has an impact on its ability to bounce back from injuries. Maybe it's a disc bulge, maybe it's a bit of facet strain in the lower back. Maybe it's something like that that's just set things off. But now we've lost some of those adaptive capacities, and it's happened over many years. So as we stated at the start of this, we've had a significant oversight more recently when we're trying to rebuild things, when we're trying to build back up, we're doing the right sort of exercises. But hopefully going back, as we've been talking in this video, and reevaluating what's got us here will put things into perspective, and that really leads us to the one thing that you'll be missing in your rehab program, or we find that so many people just don't consider when they're thinking about their back. So you might be thinking, just get to it. Well, the main thing is diet. It's nutrition, it's the intake, the stuff that's going into your body every single day. People will be doing a great workout, but you have to remember we're trying to rebuild something that maybe is 5, 10, 15 or more years in the making, losing it. We're trying to do our strengthening exercises. Well, what's actually happening when you're doing strengthening exercises? You're stimulating a atrophy, a hypertrophic process, a process of building, of creating something new or restoring something that has degraded over time. And if we look at a house, for example, we're renovating a house because it's gotten a bit weak and a bit rusty and a bit damaged, maybe like your back. We are not going to have any luck if we just start sending builders around the shop trying to build things without any bricks. People completely miss the need to provide your body with these valuable resources to actually fuel the good work that you're doing in the training. This isn't about specific nutrition, specific types of things. We're just talking about a general principle. And hopefully at the end of this video, we'll give you a little action point to take away from this to really help your back rehab process. You're doing the right exercises, I'm sure, but this is such an important part. And yes, you might be having your turmeric, you might be having your vitamins, your supplements, your this, that, the other, the antioxidants, the vegetables, etc. And that's great, there's validity in that. But are we getting, simply put, enough calories in versus calories out? Are we aware of our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, how much we need to have or to consume on a daily basis just to break even? Are we providing the simplest of things, protein, carbohydrate, and fats in our diet to make sure that we're hitting that target and not woefully inadequate? It's something that has been sort of really overlooked. When it comes to back rehab and making progress, undoing years and years maybe of bad practice, of weakness, of degradation, of an office job for 8 hours a day, followed by family time in the evening where we're sat in front of the TV or sat around the dinner table, next to no meaningful activity for most of the week. Rebuilding that is a challenge. It requires focus, and it requires you first, obviously, to do the right exercises and not the wrong ones. But then if you're doing the right exercises, that's only to provide the stimulation for your body to change. You need to provide the nutrition and the resources for your body to intelligently use to rebuild that support for your lower back and work on those leg muscles, those core muscles, etc., to start to protect the thing, whether it's a disc bulge, whether it's whatever it is in the lower back, a facet injury, a bit of spondylosis, some degenerative disc disease, whatever it is, you need to provide the resources to build, to rebuild, and really get yourself stronger. So let's give you an action point. I'm going to assume that you're doing the right sort of exercise. You're doing a progressive strengthening program. You're making progress through there. You're pushing the envelope, but not too hard. You're aware of how you're progressing with your technique and getting stronger and working to get stronger. But after this video, go and use Google, something like that. Just type in, what should my BMR be, my basal metabolic rate be? It'll ask you your height and weight and give you a readout. That's how much you should generally be consuming to break even on a daily basis for someone of your age, height, and weight. The next step you can do is there's loads of free resources. There's things like MyFitnessPal, which is a fantastic one for you to just get an appreciation. Now, sure, it can get obsessive if you're scanning different pieces of food in the shop, but at least having a basic understanding of what you think you're eating versus what you're actually eating and how the numbers match up. You wouldn't dream of saying, I'm going to go to the airport, and the airport just be some weird sort of place, and you'd have the map, you'd have a starting point, you'd have this particular airport that I'm going, you'd know which direction that you're going in, and you'd have measurements, you'd use a map to actually get you there in the first place. And that's what these tools are. Many people just go through life, they don't know how much they should be consuming on a daily basis, they have no idea what they're consuming on a daily basis, and the gap between the two is often quite a chasm. And if we do have such a chasm, then how are we going to get our body to heal? And that is the biggest challenge for a lot of people. It's having these hidden from view challenges that we're not aware of, and we think we're doing everything right. We're doing the exercise, we've been doing them for a little while, we've been more conscientious, we're doing icing instead of heating. We're doing what we think are all the right things, but we're missing out critical things. How can we heal if we're not providing the fuel to do so? Hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully it's made you think twice and reevaluate how you got here in terms of your back pain, what's led to that, and the timescales involved. And maybe you can start putting in some plans in place to start to build things back, to start to strengthen up again properly and provide all the necessary resources to do that. If you do that consistently over a period of time, we know you're going to do really, really well. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and thanks so much for watching. If you did find it helpful, do remember, give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos just like this. And you can always share this with a friend if you know someone else who's been struggling with their back for a long period of time. If you want to learn more about the premium Back in Shape membership, there's going to be a video somewhere underneath here. And if you want to stay up to date or tune in to some of our more recent live streams and the Q&As at the end of those, then that's going to be down here. And remember, you can subscribe to the channel up here and hit the notification bell to make sure you know when we next go live, so you can join us for our next live stream and Q&A.